Hello Internet, it's Big Dave here, and I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you guys about one of the most polarizing game series in recent memory. That would be the Call of Duty series, specifically Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The game had a free-to-play a couple of weekends ago. I partook in it, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts. This is something that I generally do when a big AAA title has a free-to-play weekend, and I see no reason not to do it for Modern Warfare 3. We're going to talk about the good, we're going to talk about the bad, we're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. Some of you will like my opinions, some of you will dislike my opinions, and that's okay. It's okay if I don't like something that you like, and it's okay if I like something that you don't like. We're all adults here and we can get along. Well, I guess some of you aren't legally adults in my audience, but you know what I mean. We're all mature individuals and we can agree to disagree when necessary. So, let me start out by saying I am absolutely not a Modern Warfare hater. I have never really played the game. I played a Black Ops free-to-play weekend and I played some of the original Call of Duty games, 1 and 2. Other than that, I haven't touched the Modern Warfare series, so that should give you a pretty good idea of my jumping off point, where I'm coming from, where I'm starting from when it comes to giving you a first impression of Modern Warfare 3. Now, the first thing that I definitely noticed just from existing and being on the internet is that this game separates individuals into two fanatical groups, those who hate it and those who love it. And the really odd thing about those who hate Modern Warfare 3 is that it's not necessarily that they prefer something else. They just absolutely hate Modern Warfare 3. For instance, one of the biggest rivalries in games these days is League of Legends and Heroes of Newerth. Fans of one are rarely fans of the other. They are absolutely livid and devoted to their particular game, and there ain't no in-between. Most people like one or the other, A or B. When it comes to Modern Warfare 3, there are, of course, those who are going to prefer Battlefield 3, and that's one camp. But within the hater camp, there's also just a bunch of people who don't play the games, never have, never will. They just hate them for the reputation that they have, for what the games are purported to be, and I think more specifically for the image of the players that they believe play the games, and that allows them to make the judgment that the game has no value. So it's a really weird game to be taking a look at, because I know there are people in my audience who just despise it, even though they're not necessarily that familiar with it. It is definitely a case of its reputation preceding it, and that would be its negative reputation, because it does have a lot of negative aspects when it comes to what people hear about it. You know, number one, that it's played by a lot of jerks and elitists who just want to camp you and use the cheesiest weapons and use tactics like quickscoping and all that crap and bunny hopping and whatever. You know, I'm not going to spout out the jargon like I know. Like, I've watched a few Muzza Fuzza videos and some montages, and that's the total of what I know about Modern Warfare 2, 3, etc. So it is a very interesting experience trying to come into this game with an open mind. You know, I feel like what it must have been like to try to get jurors who hadn't heard about the OJ stuff. A little throwback reference for you guys. I know some of you weren't born when that happened, but basically it's been all but impossible for me to live in the world and be on the internet and have not already formed some level of prejudice against this game. So I'm going to attempt to shed that and give you guys an honest first impression of Modern Warfare 3. Now, I'm a little older, and I grew up playing the classic FPS games, the ones that defined the genre. I think I got my first computer right around the time Doom 2 came out. Then the next logical move for me was Duke Nukem 3D, and oh my god, I had some lantastic fun on Duke Nukem 3D. And then finally, Quake, which absolutely blew my balls off. One of the most amazing games, the advent of IP-based internet matchmaking. Oh my lord. Quake, Quake World, and all of the amazing mods, Capture the Flag, Team Fortress, everything. Painkeep. Oh, Painkeep. I miss thee. Oh man. So this is my background. This is what I did. And when I played those games, especially Quake online, I mean, I played some Duke Nukem on I played Duke Nukem on the 10 network. If you've ever heard of 10, T-E-N, I played Duke Nukem on 10, and that was amazing. That was an early system which essentially created virtual networks across. You were playing LAN games, but 10 was a third party that was facilitating those LAN connections. So you would have 10, 12-person matches as if you were networked together with people, but you were playing with people from all over, and it worked really well. And I did a lot of that. And then when Quake came along, I was absolutely obsessed with playing on the internet, and I played it non-stop. I mean, got home from school, started up Quake, played Quake. That was pretty much my evening. Eventually, Mom said, "Hey, you need to go to bed." I didn't do it. She unplugged the computer and took the power cord into her bedroom, and then I finally went to bed. But the whole time I'm trying to fall asleep, there are visions of grenades and lightning gun shots and nail gun bullets all dancing through my head as I gib noobs and all that business. But ultimately, when I was playing Quake, I wasn't getting anything from it. Looking back on it now, it almost seems silly. I played Quake on the internet for hours every day, and I wasn't accruing anything. No perks, no levels, no nationally tracked scores, no unlocks, nothing. I was just killing people for 10 minutes and looking at my position on the leaderboard, and then a new game started. And that was it. So it is a revelation for me to come into the Modern Warfare series of games and modern shooters in general and have the entire concept of leveling up your character. And I have to say, from my experience, Modern Warfare 3 does a fucking awesome job of handling this mechanic. They dole out the upgrades and the weapon perks, or the kill streaks, whatever the hell. They dole them out at intervals which are very nice. When you're early on in the game, I get to level 12 while playing, rank 12, whatever the hell they call it. When you're in those early stages, every game you're getting something. You're unlocking a new perk for your weapon, or whatever they call them. You're unlocking a new token to unlock some other kill streak. You're unlocking uniforms. You're unlocking customizations for your tag. Everything. And it's handled in such a wonderful way. They dole it out like this delicious drug, and they give you just enough to keep you hooked. And they've really, frankly, mastered it. I've seen, of course, other games. One of my favorite games of last year, Space Marine, doing the same types of things. But clearly, Modern Warfare is the master of this sort of gated progression system, this sort of trickle-out progression system. And I was very, very impressed by the way it was handled in Modern Warfare 3. I really enjoyed getting those little check-offs, those little perks, the stars, the little drawings that I could put into my tag, the little pictures of men or dog tags, and all these little things, just little doodads, little doohickeys, things that I could do and play with and tweak. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And that is definitely a major plus for the game. Unfortunately, this massive positive does have a downside, and that's that, well, there's people who are higher level than you, especially when you're a new player, and that kind of sucks. It always feels bad getting killed by someone and not knowing if it was skill or if it was just the fact that that person had much, much better equipment. But then again, that's an incentive to play the game, get your level up, and then feel like you're in a position to pit skill versus skill, and you're not simply outgunned by someone who's played longer. So it's a negative, but I suppose if you're the right kind of person, you could twist that into a positive. Feel bad because you got outgunned by a higher ranked player? Well, just keep playing, persevere, and one day you'll be that rank and you'll have that weapon. The game also gets flack for its graphics. Of course, a certain British someone on the internet has said that the FOV that is on by default makes it unplayable, and that the larger guns are compensating for the weakness of the engine, and etc., etc. And while I believe all that stuff to be true, also, I really wasn't that disappointed with the graphics. I mean, they're not spectacular. I've, of course, seen better graphics, but I think the IW engine, the Infinity Ward engine, is holding up pretty well. It's no Unreal 3 engine, most certainly, but I think it's doing an adequate job. These guys have clearly learned to design for their engine, and that's the most important thing. If you really know your engine, you can suck every last little bit out of it. You can make it give everything it has to give, and you can clearly tell that the guys who worked on this game really knew what they were doing, and you would expect them to, being what professional game makers and all that jazz, but a lot of times that's not the case. If you bring in an engine from the outside, maybe you're not super familiar with it. If you develop a brand new engine, maybe you're not fully aware of its capabilities. So in this case, I think these guys, they're in the 4th or 5th revision of the IW engine, and I think that they're doing a pretty good job with it. I mean, all in all, I'm happy with the graphics. I think they look fine. They do a good job with the density, especially in the level. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a shanty town, and one side has to play the African folks. That level looks great for its density, for the amount of crap that's everywhere. I mean, it felt like a shanty town. You know, the Paris level looks good and feels good. Everything is done well. Yes, I often feel like I'm in a corridor shooter when I'm playing the game, but all in all, graphically, I'm not willing to hate on it. Could it be better? Yes, of course it could be better. When you have Croteam making a game like Serious Sam 3, an indie company with their own engine, making a game that looks as good as that engine as that game does, and doing the things that that engine can do with those wide open areas in Serious Sam, that's impressive. But of course, Croteam has the luxury of developing for the PC, which means that their ceiling is much higher, whereas Call of Duty series is on primarily the consoles. That's the audience that they definitely care about the most, so they have to limit their development based on what the console generation can handle. But then again, I have seen Battlefield 3 on consoles, and it looks pretty awesome. I mean, I would even say Battlefield 2 with the original Battlefield Bad Company 2 with the original Frostbite engine. I own that game on PlayStation 3, and it looks pretty damn impressive. So I kind of have to call BS on some of the, well, we're limited by the console and the power of the console, because other companies seem to be making it happen. Okay, look, let me break this down for you in plain English here. I know it sounds like I've been reading from a script this whole time, but really this has all been just improv. But let me just break it down for you in plain language, the way that I like to approach all games, indie games, AAA games, whatever. When I played Modern Warfare 3, did I have fun? The answer to that question is yes. To a certain extent, I enjoyed the game. Does it have its downside? Of course it does. Is it an acquired taste? Of course it is. Am I going to purchase it? Of course I'm not going to purchase it. I enjoyed it for what it was, for the time that I played it. When I think back to my free-to-play weekend experience, I'm not going to remember the people who made fun of me for being a free-to-play weekend noob. I'm not going to remember the people who questioned my skill when I was dragging down the team. I'm not going to remember the guys who exploited the fact that I didn't understand how certain game mechanics worked and really owned the hell out of me. I'm not going to remember those things. You know what I'm going to remember? I'm going to remember standing over a dog tag and kill confirmed and getting my first kill streak and being so excited about it. I will also say it took me probably an hour to get my first kill streak. But being happy about that, feeling like I had accomplished something, you know, I'm gonna remember unlocking my first add-on for a gun and being excited about that and wanting to rush out of the game right away and just put that on. You know, I'm gonna remember actually getting my first couple of kills and feeling like I had accomplished something because they were the top players on the opposing team at the time. I'm going to remember these things because they were fun, you know? I'm going to remember the interactions I had with the folks on my team holding a particular position in a particular map and moving back and forth, and that sort of nonverbal communication that starts to happen amongst players in a team environment. You know, I'm going to remember getting my first 8 kill streak. And I'm going to remember those sorts of things. You know, I'm going to remember the first time that my KD was positive, which happened like twice in all the games I played. These are the things that I'm going to remember, and I will remember them fondly. But at the same time, I'm not going to long to experience them again. So those of you out there who enjoy Modern Warfare 3, keep on doing what you do. Keep on loving it. And those of you out there who hate it, well, keep on hating it for whatever your particular reason is. All right, guys, I have been Big Dave, and I'm a little bit more enlightened in the way of Modern Warfare 3. So until next time, take it easy.